Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic and what could be a long video. I know some of you really like the long videos. I hope those of you who don't like the long videos will forgive us doing an occasional long video. The reason I think this is going to be lengthy is this is a puzzle called River Crossing by IcyFruit, and it has what some consider to be the perfect Sudoku rating. It has 5 stars out of 5 for difficulty, 100% approval rating from those who have managed to solve it. I went to Logic Masters Germany and snipped a couple of the comments. Magnus Josephson is one of these geniuses who frequents the Sudoku community. And whenever he comments on a puzzle, you want to actually take notice of that puzzle because it's probably absolutely brilliant. And Azerio says this is a masterpiece. I've set some 3-color yin yang. I think that must be in the past. It still took me well over 2 hours to finish this one. So yeah, it's going to be a difficult puzzle. But IcyFruit, I don't know who IcyFruit is genuinely. I do obviously know the real names of some constructors, but IcyFruit is a mystery. I will tell you that I have had recommendations from the great Fistemafel to do IcyFruit's puzzle, so I think that should scotch rumours that I have seen that IcyFruit and Fistemafel are one and the same. I really genuinely don't think they are. Yeah, but every puzzle I have done in IcyFruit's canon has been absolutely brilliant, and this one clearly by those who've solved it is rated as absolutely brilliant, so I'm looking forward to having a go at it, but this might be a long one. Any other news? A couple of things to mention. Tomorrow night we're streaming 8:30 is when the videos go out, 10 o'clock UK time. We're streaming Islands of Insight. I've been really looking forward to having another go at that game since we tried it last week. Yeah, but we'll see how that goes. Love to have your company if you're free. Over on Patreon we've got all our usual bonus content, including, if you really like very long videos, the longest video that we've ever done solving a Sudoku when I took on Region Geometry by Emre Kalotoglu. That's 3 hours 36 minutes, I think. I hope this one isn't going to be that difficult, but I am doing it. I'm starting at 11:30 in the morning, so if it is a brutal one, I ought to have time to finish it. And I've got some birthdays to do today as well, so let's get on with those. Brittany, it's your birthday over there in British Columbia, and I know this because your husband Alex wrote to us and wanted me to wish you a happy birthday. I know you've got a 9-month-old daughter as well, Kinsley, and who you're hoping will be sort of a puzzle lover like her mother when she gets older. So Brittany, happy birthday. I hope you have a great birthday today with, of course, chocolate cake. Next, Hannah, it's your birthday today, and I know this because your husband Nathan wrote to us and said that your gamer tag was Hansi Fluff. I don't know. Hansi must be at Hannah, mustn't it? Hansi Fluff. So I don't know if any of you know Hansi Fluff, but it's Hannah's birthday today. Anyway, I hope you have a great one. Juan, it's your birthday today. You've turned 18, and I know this because your girlfriend Abby wrote to us. And apparently one of the things you asked for your birthday, Juan, was for the British Sudoku man to wish you a happy birthday. It might be me. Anyway, I hope you have a great birthday. I know you're over there in Florida. It must be nice in Florida at the moment. I'm guessing the weather is better than it is here. And finally, Megan, your husband Dan and daughter Isabella over there in Michigan wanted to wish you a very happy birthday. Dan described you as the best mother and the most wonderful, compassionate soul he has ever met. And he went on to say that I think Dan works as a tax CPA. So January through April are very busy months, but Megan not only supports him so much during that period, but also finds time to knit hats for people going through chemotherapy at the local hospitals. Megan, you sound like an incredible person. I hope you have a brilliant birthday today. I know you're having gluten-free chocolate cake, which is probably fine. And I hope you get the right ratio of icing to cake, of course. Many happy returns. Now, let's read the rules of river crossing by IcyFruit and find out what we have to do. These are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. So we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Then we have to divide the grid into 3 orthogonally connected sections, such that each pair of sections shares an edge, and no 2x2 square in the grid belongs to a single section. Right. So this is like yin-yang rules, but with 3 areas. I was about to draw in something that couldn't possibly be true, but I think. Oh, it says no 2x2s as well. I was about to draw something that also couldn't be true. I was going to draw this, and then. I mean, this is wrong, obviously, but just to illustrate the principle of what we're trying to do, we've got to make it. We've got to have 3 different areas that are orthogonally connected. So let's deal with what that means. So that would mean. In fact, I've chosen a particularly obtuse example to make this work with, haven't I? Let's extend it somewhat. We couldn't have this as an area because this purple region is not orthogonally connected because this cell only attaches at a point to this one. So orthogonally connected means shares an edge with, basically. But there was this other thing where 3 areas such that each pair of sections shares an edge. So green here shares an edge with purple, green shares an edge with blue, and blue shares an edge with purple. So we have achieved it, but what we haven't achieved here is to have no 2x2 square belonging to a single section. So goodness only knows how we're going to achieve that. I'm not even going to guess at what the regions might look like. A digit in a circle indicates the number of circles in its section. Right, a digit in a circle indicates the number. So can we go back? Oh, no. Yeah, we can. So this is another reason why this couldn't possibly be right, because all of these green ones, I think, should have 5 in them, and we'd have we'd have lots of 5s in this box and 2 5s in this row, etc. So that's another reason why this is total and utter nonsense that I've managed to come up with there. On section sum lines, okay, so these must be section sum lines, all adjacent groups of digits along the line which are part of the same section have the same sum. No line can be entirely in one section. So let's look at this line then. So what am I meant to do here? Split it up into pieces. But they don't have to be equal length, do they? So we could have this sort of thing going on, maybe. I don't know if that's possible, but I'll just explain how I think this would work. I managed to put 4 colours in as well, so that's total and utter gibberish. So I think what we'd do here is we'd add up those 3 digits and get a number. Let's say that's x. Then we'd have to write x into that one. These 3 would have to add up to x, and those 3 would have to add up to x, is I think what that rule is saying. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, if you'll forgive me, I think what I want to do before I go do anything in this puzzle is I just want to think about normal yin-yang restrictions, because there are restrictions like in yin-yang, which is a version of this sort of logic problem where there are only 2 orthogonally connected sections, not 3. But in that version, you can't have a checkerboard pattern. So question 1, can you have a checkerboard in this? Hang on. Okay, so what I'm wondering is, could you have a checkerboard? And the answer is no. The answer is no. Okay, that took me a while. The answer is no, because there's that requirement that says that that all the colours have to connect with all the other colours somewhere. So my first reaction when I drew this checkerboard in is in connecting the reds. Let's say I connect the reds like that. Yeah, I could have a yellow region left behind and a blue region left behind, and that's fine. But it's not fine, is it? Because blue has to somewhere in the grid connect to yellow, and there can't be other yellows over here because all the yellows have to connect to themselves. So actually, in this puzzle, there is no checkerboard. So that is a tiny deduction. When I say checkerboard, I mean that it's not going to be possible. Yeah, it's definitely not possible to have the same colour within a 2x2 on the diagonals if these two are different colours. And when I say different colours, I mean they could be the same colour, like that. That's still broken, because you have to connect the reds to each other. And then green, this green would be in an isolated pool of red, and it couldn't connect orthogonally to this green. So it doesn't matter whether these are different colours or the same colour. But if you have two opposite in a 2x2, it's just broken. Now, the next question I want to ask myself is how many contiguous regions can we have around the perimeter of this puzzle? Because in normal yin-yang, you can't have more than two sections. Because you could have like a section like that and a section like that. But you can see in normal yin-yang where there's just two colours, if you introduce this, a sort of a third break in the colour pattern, then to connect this yellow to this yellow, however you do it, whatever route you take, however complicated that route is, you're going to isolate part of the red from another part of the red. Now, in this puzzle, we've got three regions. So I'm just going to have to play around with this just to see what I think it might mean. So there wouldn't be any problem with having well, there's definitely no problem. I say there's definitely no problem. My brain is telling me, my brain has been known to be wrong. My brain is telling me that there is no problem with having three colours in the perimeter. The only requirement that we've not met in the puzzle here is the requirement for blue to connect somewhere with red. But we could achieve that. We could just do that, couldn't we? So I'm going to claim we can definitely have three colours around the perimeter. So the next question is, can we have four colours around it? What I mean is, can I now... Well, I doubt I can. I can't make that yellow. Or, no, I can't. This is the same problem. The moment I introduce another break in the colour beyond 3, I'm going to cut something off. So it wouldn't matter if I made this red. But you can see, to connect this yellow square to this yellow square, doesn't matter what route I take, this blue is isolated from this blue. And if I made that red, it's the same problem. To connect the reds across, this blue is isolated from this blue again. And that logic will hold. It doesn't matter where I introduce the new colour, the same point will emerge. Right. So basically, it's almost the same as with two colour yin-yang. We can't have checkerboard, but we can have one extra colour in the perimeter, but not more than that. So we can have all three colours once on the perimeter. But we could also have less than three colours in the perimeter. So what's to... well, I mean, I can see one thing that stops this, which is the rules of the puzzle, which said that the lines have to be split into at least two pieces. But absent that, we could certainly have one colour around the perimeter, I think, and then have, I don't know, something a bit less. Well, we could have three colours merging somehow in the middle. What the circles were. Okay. Let's go on to the circles for a moment. So I'm just looking at those three circles. Now, Right. How many circles have we got in the puzzle here? We've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. I'm going to recount that. 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 11. I've got 11 both times. So let's assume there are 11 circles. One thing I've noticed is that a circle has in it the number of circles in its region, in its colour. So these 3 circles, if any 2 of these 3 circles was in the same colour, they would have the same digit in them. And that would break Sudoku rules. So these are 3 different coloured circles, and this is 3 different coloured circles as well. Now, well, I might as well. The problem is, I was going to say I might as well colour these 3 different colours, but there is actually no. That's too difficult to do because I don't know. I could colour these 3 in, but then I won't know how these 3 are coloured. I would know that. No, I mean, so for example, if I made this, if I did this sort of thing, I would know that these are green, blue and purple in some order, but I don't know how to allocate the colours in this box. I don't think I do anyway. Blue, hang on, let's not do this one. Let's just think about this one, because blue has to get out. Yeah, blue does have to get out because one of these is blue. So blue does have to escape from, you know, this. It's not going to be the situation where there's a tiny little patch of blue in the top left and no other blue in the puzzle. Blue has to get to one of these circles somehow. So it's going to have to take something along this little 4-cell line. But we don't know which direction it's going to go. So blue will hit the perimeter. I suppose we could say that. So that's the only time that blue will be allowed to hit the perimeter, in the sense that if blue goes this way and comes down here and then goes across and goes to there, say, blue could never again visit the perimeter. Because if it did, we'd have the problem that we looked at originally. Oh, that's Mark ringing. I better not take that. I don't like to interrupt these videos unless it's sort of essential. How do I make it go away? I don't know. Right, the minimum... Right, okay, the minimum number in any one coloured circle is now 2, isn't it? Because these 3 squares are these colours. If we look at blue, say, we know one of these is blue, we know one of these is green, we know one of these is purple. So every colour has acquired 2 circles at this point. And we're trying to make all 3 colours circles add up to 11. Now the interesting thing about that is that one of the circles in this puzzle must have a value of 2. Because because they've all reached 2, if we bump them all up, which would make them 3, 4, 5 at least in box 1, 3, 4 and 5 add up to 12. So we can't bump them all up. One of them has to stay as 2, and the other 2 are going to add up to 9. So the other 2 are either going to be 3, 6 or 4, 5. But one of these is a 2. One of these is a 2. And whichever one the 2 is takes no more circles. That feels an important deduction. Takes no more circles. I was going to say, so that that means we've only got 2 colours on the perimeter, but that's not true, is it? No, it's not true. You could, if that was a 2, it could just do that, providing it never took one of these circles. It's fine for it to dip into the perimeter and come out again. Right, okay. What do we do next then? So this colour, this is going to clip this thing in either, it's either going to do that. It can't do that because that would make a 2 by 2 of blue. But I suppose it could do that, couldn't it? Okay, right. So it's either, so blue hits the perimeter in box 1. Yeah, okay. But this line is not divided into 3 different colours, I don't think. Yeah, it's going to cause our isolation to do that. So if I make this blue, let's just try and colour this line into all 3 different colours. So we could do that. Now we have a decision to make. If we're going to have 3 different colours, we have to, well, purple, how's purple ever going to get in here? It's going to have to come around there, and then green couldn't get in there. So, I mean, I think that's fairly clear, isn't it? There's no way you can do it. If blue comes out that way, green has to get in here if you want to colour it 3 different ways, and then purple can't get in there at all. So this boundary has 2 colours on it. Now, that must be the same here. That's an assertion. Don't let me get away with that. I think it's true, but I'm asserting it because it was so clear here. But this is a slightly different shaped line. Let's just make this green. Oh, all I'm doing here is I'm just going to play around with these colours just to see how they, see whether I can also say that there are only 2 colours on this boundary. If this is green, and it has to get out because it has to come up there. So let's say it gets out across the bottom, and then and then to get this in to this stretch, it would have to loop round, and then you can't get purple in as well. Yeah, so that's that is true. It felt true. I just wasn't certain it was true. So let's decolour these. Right. So this stretch of real estate in the sort of southeast corner, and this northwesterly strip of real estate. So I'm talking about these 2 lines. They each have 2 colours on them. Okay, right. So what that means is that there must be one coincident colour between on these yellow stretches. There are only 3 colours in the puzzle. So in order for there to be no colour in common between the 4 cells here, which have 2 colours on them, and the 5 cells here, which have 2 colours on them, you'd need 4 different colours. And there are not 4 different colours in this Sudoku, there are only 3 different colours. So there's at least 1 overlapping colour. And why am I interested in that? Well, obviously, let's imagine that colour was blue here. And there's a blue in this stretch of colour here. That's going to cause, because blue can only appear in one contiguous sequence around the perimeter, blue, if it was blue, is going to go all the way around the edge. And all the way, or all the way around this edge. So there is one contiguous string of coloured cells connecting the yellow cells in boxes 1 and 9. But, and it's a big but, we don't know whether it's across the top or down the side, and we don't know which of these colours it is. Although, could we claim it has to be blue? Because blue has to get out. Blue is definitely one of the colours in yellow. I don't know. It's tricky actually, isn't it? It's tricky. So I know that there's either a sequence there that all of those are the same colour, but I don't know which colour it is, or there's a sequence here. But again, I don't know which colour it is, or both. It's possible it's both, but one of those things must exist, and in existing, it's going to collect a circle, or in this case, it's going to collect 2 circles. So whatever this colour is, well, it's red at the moment, but whichever one of these sort of key colours it is, that's not the 2 colour, the colour that has 2 in its circle. Well, it doesn't... It feels quite unlikely it's this one, actually, because I've got these strings of sequential digits in the red colouring. That would be a different colour, because red can't appear in the entirety of this 2x2, so that would be some new colour. So those 3 digits would add up to this digit, would add up to those 3 digits. It might be possible. I don't know. It feels constrained. I'd make this at least a 6. What about those 2 then? They're different colours, aren't they? And the reason I say that is they can't be in the same colour because they would have the same number in them. And they can't be the 2 colour. Whichever one of these is 2 and whichever one of these is 2, that's the only circles that that colour has. That colour has. So we obviously can't add more circles to that 2 colour. So these are the other 2 colours. Does that help me? Because I know that the other 2 colours are either a 3-6 pair or a 4-5 pair. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. So I've either got red is either true or yellow is true or both. Let's just hypothesize for a moment that red is true. I know that if red is true, these 2, they either belong to red. That can't be right. That cannot be true. These cannot be red. So if red is true, these cannot be red. Because if they were red, there should be no interruption to red. It should be possible to draw a line from this circle, this red circle, say, all the way to the rest of the red. Because if this red is interrupted by other colours, to connect it up, you're going to cause the problem that basically you've got an interruption to red in the perimeter. And you can't have an interruption to red in the perimeter because we're going to have a problem, basically an exploded checkerboard problem. So for this to be red, we'd have to be either able to go straight through this line to connect to this red. That's not possible. This has to have two colours on it. Or we'd have to go straight through this line to connect to red. And that's impossible because this line needs to have two colours on it. So these two colours, if red was true, these two colours are, these two circles are not red, but they're also not the 2 colour, and red is not the 2 colour. So these two would be the same colour, and they can't get round the perimeter that way. So that sequence would be forced to be connected. There would be a connected sequence here. But that's if red. Does it work? I think it's going to work the same way symmetrically. If we assume yellow is true, on the other hand, if yellow is true, then for this to be yellow, it should be possible to draw a connected sequence from this cell around the perimeter, either through this or through this, and neither is possible. So that cannot be yellow. So this circle yes. So here we go. So whether red is true or yellow is true, if we do a circle count, one of these circles is a 2. I don't know which one. Let's make it that one. These two we have to calculate. These two have to add up to 9. Now, we know that these two are in different colours. So one of these would be purple, one of these would be green. So now, if we take these 3 into account as well, purple and green are up to 3 circles in each. But we know it's not possible. It's not possible for these 3 circles to be blue at all, and those 3 circles cannot be the same colour. So now each colour is got up to at least, each colour that's not blue is up to at least 4, and therefore these are a 4-5 pair. So actually we now know something that we didn't know before. Every circle, no, we know something much better than that. I was about to say, we know these are 2, 4, 5. We know that these are 4s and 5s, because they are definitely not the 2 colour. So this is a 4-5 pair. We still don't know whether yellow or red is actually correct. We've got a 4-5 pair in the middle column. I do know that these connect to each other. So maybe I've got to take that out now. I do know this is true. That is a sequence, because these two have to be the same colour, and it's not the same as this colour. Because we can't connect either of these circles to this along the perimeter. Golly gosh, let's take that out. We also don't know whether red... We know that there is a connection. Either red is true or an expanded yellow is true, or both. And we know this has to hit the perimeter. And we know that has to hit the perimeter. And we know each of these is two-coloured. Wow, okay. I can't... I suspect this is true. Which means I should be able to falsify this, or it is also true. How do we do this? Sorry, if you can see this immediately, well done. I'm not so sure that I can. I know that blue gets to the perimeter. Then either purple or green is also going to get to the perimeter here. And the same is true down here. Maybe we've just got to explore how this works. I can't really visualize it. I've got so many colors going on. So if blue goes there, and then blue does go round here, let's just think about this. So let's say blue somehow gets, blue is the thing that's going along the perimeter to here. Then this could be blue, this could be blue. Something has to get into these squares. I mean, blue could go there, but one of these is definitely not blue. So it's either purple or green. Looks like it would have to be. Well, it couldn't be green, could it actually? Yeah. Oh, is that the point? Is that the point? That once you make a decision about how blue gets out, this is forced to be that one. And vice versa. Ooh. So, hang on. That felt interesting. So say that was blue. This has to get out. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to make that a different colour. Let's say that's blue, and this is then red. So red has to get out. These are some sort of red-blue hybrid. So red's coming round here. It's not possible. No, because we don't know. Actually, no. This is bad. This is bad logic. Because I don't know that this sequence is correct across the top. What I'm trying to visualize is whether if what I'm trying to basically prove is if blue, whichever way blue gets out, I'm wondering if you're going to cut one of these off if there isn't a contiguous sequence around this top region. That's what I'm wondering. And partly that's triggered by the fact that I can see now that it's impossible. In this situation where I've sent blue low, it's impossible for green to be the other colour. Because for green to be the other colour and go in there, purple could never connect to the purple I know exists in box 9. So something purple has to be up here. And then we're going to come down to this side of the grid, and I've arbitrarily joined blue up here because I thought that would be the least constraining place. If blue is here, I mean, blue couldn't be that one. I don't, or could it? No. Yeah, maybe that is a way of approaching this. Okay, you have to decide which of these is blue. One of them is. One of them is definitely blue. Which one should we decide is blue? Now, I'm going to claim this one won't work. Full stop. Because if that is blue, we have to connect it to this boundary somehow. And you might say, well, we can do that easily. We can do that. Well, actually, I've got to be even more careful. Because there's no necessity. Because I've also made the presumption that blue's on this boundary in drawing this whole line in. Yes, there's a couple of assumptions here, but I don't actually think it matters, because if blue's just coming as far as this, for example, you can hopefully see this still doesn't work, because this has to get out to connect up here, and this has to get out, and there isn't enough room for that to happen. So I don't think this can be blue, and blue obviously can't connect like that because it would take up the whole of the line. So one of these is going to be blue in this scenario. Now I'm going to contend that this is far more constraining. If that is blue, these now are purple and green in some order. But one of them has to get in here. It can't be that one because it's going to isolate this. So whatever colour this is gets in here. Now, here is the question. Does this have to be purple? Or can it be green? Now, I'm not sure. No, I am sure. It's clear. It's actually absolutely clear. There is no way that that can be green. Because it doesn't matter how these two greens connect. It doesn't matter what route they take. That purple can never get to this purple because there is an effective wall of green across the grid, isn't there? So actually, in this situation, you'd have to go purple there. You'd have to go green here. Purple hits the boundary. And now purple is forced across the top. And, okay. Alright, so that was the situation where this was blue. So we haven't quite proved it yet. I mean, to do all of the situations will take ages anyway. But I'm feeling like actually there is a contiguous sequence here and there is a contiguous sequence here. That's where I think this is going to end up. So the other option was the first option I tried, which I thought was going to be the least constraining, because now if this is blue, we can't have three colours here. So these are two different colours. So we have to decide what colour we're going to put on the boundary here. And let's say that's green. Is that possible? Well, it's only possible if that's green, isn't it? And that's purple. But now purple to connect up is going to make a wall that green can't bridge to connect up with this thing. So it cannot be. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. There's some sort of exploded checkerboard thing going on that is preventing us having that third colour. Yeah, so it's the two colour. It's the two colour that never gets to the perimeter. Whichever one of these is the two colour is just not allowed to get to the perimeter. I don't think it can be this one, because this one is this one and this one definitely do get to the perimeter. So let's just satisfy ourselves that that works if we do it the other way round. Sorry, I just want to keep some of the original colouring. So here is the next contention. if this is definitely a sequence to get to that one, meaning this colour and this colour are the same, does that also, and I think it will, force this to be a sequence? So how do we generically prove this? Is it possible? I can see immediately, actually, now I start to think about this, I'm getting a bit more fluent with it, but you can't make this green if this is green, because we can't feed green in across the top, and if we feed it green in like that, purple is isolated. It doesn't matter how I join this green up. That purple can never get to a purple in this box. So the colour that would be appropriate if we are joining these up is just not able to be green. So it's either purple or it's blue. Now if it's blue, given we know one of these colours is some other colour, that colour now must be green. Can't be purple because purple would isolate green to get in there. So there must be a green in one of these. And we're going to get exactly the same principle down here, aren't we? We have to decide which of these is blue. It can't be this one, because this one will get isolated, and we can't go round there and connect the whole of this line in one colour. So one of these is blue. If we make it this one, which I think gives us the most flexibility, this has to get out. The question is, can that be purple? The answer is no, it can't be purple, because to connect this purple up with this purple, it doesn't matter what route I take to do it. This green can never get to this green. So that's always now forced to be green, which means it hits the boundary, which means that is a forced green segment. Good grief. Wow. Okay. I mean, and there may be a more, I'm sure there is actually, a more elegant way of, those of you who are good at sort of topology in mathematics will be able to immediately say why I could instantly have assumed that this was the case. But I have finally, I think, got a deduction here, which is that all of these are the same colour. Don't know what that colour is. Do I want to make it blue? I might make it yellow, actually. And all of these are the same colour. I might make those red for a change. So this and this are now definitely red or yellow, which means they are not 2s. Now, that was a lot of work. No, what I was about to say was total and utter nonsense. Have I actually done anything as a result of this? Oh, I have got these sequences here. Oh, I could have done this before. I had digits available, I've just realised. Yeah, because these two being the same colour means they were always 5s, weren't they? Because there's another one, there's an extra one of these on the perimeter. One of these two here are now yellow and red. And so there's one red in there, one red in here, one red in there, and 2 reds there. So these are 5s. We could have done that before. That must be a 4. Oh, well, actually, no, that is, I was about to say it doesn't do anything, but it does. Because that now is a 4, and that is a 5. Which means 5 is the red colour. And, okay, that's interesting. That's not the way round I would have expected that, really. I suppose, I mean, it's not that far away. For some reason, I just thought it would be easier for that to just go straight down to connect to its friend, but it definitely doesn't do that because it's not the right colour to do that. Right. So this is now not a 4. So this is not yellow. So this is either red. That can't be red, can it? How can that be red? Or maybe... I don't know. I feel like that can't be red, but that might just be me talking gibberish. If that's red, that's yellow. I'm just going to look at this actually, because my feeling is that that just doesn't work. That yellow has to get out. This red has to connect to this red. And this is some new colour. Let's make it... should we make it green? Let's make it green. Now green has to connect to something up here. I feel like this doesn't work. I mean, this red, I don't know how it does it, but it very clearly has to connect to this perimeter. It also has to pick up that cell, but ignore that cell for a moment. It has to connect to this perimeter. And it has to do it in a way that doesn't isolate this green from one of these two squares. But if that's green, then connecting these two up creates a wall that I can see I can see it. I can see it clearly. I can't get round the right side of this red. So however I connect up the greens is creating a wall. So that can't be true. So this would have to be the green. But I think that's the same problem. To connect these greens up, I mean, I could make that red, but it can't get out through this that would be a yellow. So I can't get round. I can't get round the sort of virtual wall that exists across green. It doesn't actually matter now which of these is red. It's a problem. If that's red and this is yellow, there's clearly 3 reds on the right hand side of the wall. And if that's red and that's yellow, there's 2 reds on the right hand side of the wall that can never connect. Yeah, that doesn't work. That does not work. So this square, which is not yellow and now I've proved is not red, is green. And green is the 2 colour. So that is the 2 colour. These 2 squares, therefore, are a 4-5 pair. This one is red or yellow. These are all red and yellow, aren't they? I bet we can do the same at the top here, look. So this now, by that same logic, I am going to allege. Or am I? Is this different? So what do I want that to be? Or what do I expect it to be? I expect it now to be green, don't I? I think that's right. I do think that's right. I think if this is yellow, it's exactly the same point. This now becomes red. This becomes red. We have to avoid a checkerboard. I have to connect. This is green now. I have to connect. Well, fundamentally, I have to connect those greens together in such a way that doesn't create a wall that prevents this yellow from connecting to the right-hand wall. I don't see a way of doing that. I mean, even if I just can't do it. Even if I could create the most sort of efficient wall like that, you might say, now yellow can get out round the side, but it can't, because one of these is red and prevents yellow from crossing this boundary. So this doesn't work either. So actually this is always green, and that's always a 2, which means these 2 squares are a 4-5 pair. That is yellow or red. Greens. Oh, now what's going on? Because now we've still got a bit of a problem with this colour. Yeah, okay. So how does this red connect to the wall of red on the left-hand side? And the answer is I don't quite know. But I don't think that this green can go on the left-hand side of this. So again, whatever route it takes to connect to this, if it doesn't go across this top bit, there's a problem. This red can't get to the edge. I think that's right. I mean, it's clearly right, isn't it? So this green has to go across there and up here. Probably that has to be green, but I'm not actually certain. Oh, what on earth? Oh, I see that. I bet that now. I bet that has to be yellow. I mean, I can almost see that straight away. If this is red and this is yellow, how do we get this out and connect it to here? However it does it, it's isolating this from this. So this is wrong. So it's the other way round. That is yellow. That is red. That red has to get out. We don't know what the corner is. At least I don't think we do. It could be either, probably. Not certain about that, but I don't think I know what that is. This green now can get to this without being obstructed. We're going to be able to do, I think, similar logic down here. I think this green is going to have to go along there, but that's just a hunch. I'm saying that without doing any actual thinking. Now, that is now a 5 because it is red, so this is a 4 because it is yellow. And now that is a 5 by Sudoku. I mean, it's outrageous being made to do Sudoku in this puzzle. I was going to make it red. That's not right, though, is it? It doesn't mean all 5s are red. No, it doesn't mean all 5s are red. I don't think. It doesn't mean that, does it? No. No, that's nonsense. It does mean that's a 5 by Sudoku because there are 4 5s looking at this box. But it doesn't mean that we actually know the colour of it. I don't think. There's a 5 in one of those. That's quite interesting. So there's a 5 in one of those 2 cells. Wow. Okay. So now I'm going to try and do that same logic again. So can I see it as clearly this time? There is an effective wall between these 2 squares. In fact, maybe that would have been a useful thing to do. Let's go to the line drawing tool. That's always been the case, hasn't it, in terms of sort of boundaries. So you can clearly see that it's not possible for the one colour to move across this boundary because these are definitely different colours. So, what does that mean? It means that if it means if this is yellow, there is a problem with the world. Because if that's yellow and that's red, to connect this yellow to here, it doesn't matter what route I take or how I do it. There's no way these two greens can connect. Because these 2 greens effectively are going to form a wall across the grid. So this yellow won't be able to breach it. If it was yellow, so it's not yellow. That's red, that's yellow. Yellow has to get out, so it goes there. Alright, now here's a tiny point that we can do there then. So this one I'm going to claim is red, because I can't have a 2 by 2 of yellow here. I clearly can't have green down here, because this green can never get to it. So that's definitely red. And that's we don't know what that is, I don't think. It's one or t'other. We can get the parity of this digit, actually. Is that worth doing? It might be worth. Actually, I know the value of that. That's 4 and that's 5 by dint of. So that's 5 by Sudoku. I'll come back to that parity idea. 4? Can I do something with 4s? Maybe not. Yeah, so my parity idea was that it doesn't matter what colour this is, this corner digit. The sum of the digits along this segment can be divided in half because there are two segments of equal sum in some way. So these 5 digits together must add up to an even number. And 11 is an odd number. And by the secret, something I only tell my very favourite people, but of course if you're watching this still, you're definitely one of my favourite people. By the secret, this box adds up to an odd number because it contains the digits 1 to 9 once each, and 1 to 9 summed to 45. So what that tells us is if these are even and this is odd, we're on an odd total for those 8 digits. So to preserve parity and retain the oddness of the overall box, 45 being odd, that is an even number and is 6 or 8 because it can't be 2 or 4. Right. And that's at least going to allow us to distill down the value, how this splits up a little bit, isn't it? Because if that's 6 and 11 is 17, so this line would add up to 28, and it would contain a sequence that adds up to, or 2 sequences that add up to 14. Where does the 9 go in that sequence is the question I'm now trying to think about. The 9 couldn't go in the 2-cell sequence because it would need a 5 with it. So the 9 would go in the 3-cell sequence. And then it would need... No, that doesn't work. Yeah, you can't... If this is 6, you can't deal with 9 on this line. I don't think. So what I'm just going to double check that. 6... 17. If this is 6, these would be 17. These would be 28, divided into 2 halves. Each is valued at 14. If I put the 9 in a 2-cell sequence, it needs a 5. It can't have one. If I put the 9 in the 3-cell sequence, it needs 2 cells that sum to 5. That's 2, 3, or 4, 1. It doesn't work. So that is 8, which means these add up. Well, these are 26 now, aren't they? So they average to 13, and the 9 is in the 3-cell sequence because the 9 can't go with a 4. So there is, in this sequence, there is a 1, 3 and a 9 and a 6 and a 7. 1, 3, 9, 6 and 7. So the corner digit here has to be part of the 3-cell sequence. So that is a 1, 3 or a 9. Nine, 1, 3 or 9, 1, 3. That's 9, 1, 3. That feels like it's doing too much damage to this line. Oh, yeah, okay, we should look at this actually. But remember earlier I said that this colour can't be yellow. That's still true. I don't know what colour it is, but it's green or red. It's probably... I think it's probably got to be green. If that's red, I'm going to connect this green somehow to this green. Yeah, I mean, if this is red, there is definitely a wall of green between these 2 squares. Again, don't know what it looks like, but there's no way that red can connect here. In fact... no. Oh, no, there is no way. There is no way. But this is getting complicated now, because this red does have to connect here, but this red can connect something like that. Yeah, that green's going to have to go round the bottom of this yellow. I haven't extrapolated that logic from what we did before. Yeah, there's some sort of big wiggle that the green is doing in the grid. It's doing something like this. it's creating like a serpenty 2 shape in the grid, because it's got to allow this red to get to the edge, and it's got to allow this yellow to get to the edge. Well, yeah, but the fundamental point is this definitely can't be red, because even in drawing my splendid 2 shape like this red is on the wrong side of that boundary. So that is definitely green. But this is all by the by, because this is all coming from my consideration of where 139 is in box 9. And what I'm going to claim is that this square is a 6, 7, 8 or 9, because it is the sum along this line of 3 different numbers, twice actually, those 3 and those 3. So this is at least a 6, because the minimum these could be would be a 1, 2, 3 triple. Now, if this was the 139 segment in box 9, these 3 digits would have a minimum sum, they can't even have 4 in them, of 2, 5 and 6, which is way bigger. It's 13. It's a lot bigger than a single digit number. So this is not 139. This is 139. I'm not even sure we can put 1 in the corner there, actually. No, we can't. No way. If this was a 1 in the corner, the minimum sum of these would be 235, which is 10. That's too big. So that's not 1 in the corner. If it was 3 in the corner, we could have a song. It would mean these squares were from 1 to 5 as a minimum. That's fine. I mean, obviously that's fine. Here's a small but delightful point. That can't be a 7 and hasn't been able to be a 7 for some time. Because if this was 7, that would be a 1, 2, 4 triple, and that 4 prevents that, so it's not 7. There is definitely a 1 on this string. Oh, it's not 8. It's not 8, because that string would, for this to be 8, this string would have to either be 1, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 5, and both of those are ruled out. So this is 6 or 9. I don't. I bet it can't be 6. If it's 6, well, if it's 6, those would be a 1, 2, 3 triple, because the only way of making 6 in 3 different Sudoku numbers is with 1, 2, 3, and that would be 1, 2, 3, and that would be 1, 2, 3. So this would be a 1, 2, 3 triple. Hang on. If that's... right, this corner digit is yellow. It is not red. Because if that's red, the minimum sum I'm going to claim for these 3 digits, given I can't use 2, 4, 5, is 1, 3, 6. And 1, 3 and 6 add up to 10, which I can't write into a Sudoku cell. So that's wrong. This is yellow. We've got a domino here. The problem is that takes the pressure off. And we can't do parity here in the same way. Because although I know that that 4-cell sequence will sum to an even number, and therefore those 2 digits in this one will sum to an even number to preserve parity, but that's a lot less constrained, isn't it? If this was a 1, 2, 3 triple, though, if this was 6 and this was a 1, 2, 3 triple, all these digits would be massive. I don't think that works, actually, on this line. But that's getting quite complicated. 6, 7, 8, 9. 13 minimum. Yeah, I think this cell's broken. What I'm seeing there is if this is a 1, 2, 3 triple, these squares are therefore 6, 7, 8, 9 in the row. But the minimum sum of these 2 digits is 13. So these cannot include a 1 or a 3. And I've got, well, yeah, so what I was thinking about this digit not being able to be 1, 2 or 3, but basically there's just nowhere for 1 and 3 in the box, is there? There's one place for those 2 digits, and there are no Schrödinger cells, not at least in this puzzle. So this is 9. Now that ought to be interesting. Well, it's very interesting here, because this 3-cell sequence can't be 1, 3, 5 or 2, 3, 4, so that is 1, 2, 6. This sequence, well, we're not getting a 3. Oh, no, we might still be able to have a 3 in the corner. No, I thought there was going to have to put a 3 on this line. That's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. Yeah, this is either 1, 2, 6 or 1, 3, 5. 1, 2, 6. So it's only, so all I know is it's got 1 on it. Oh. Really? Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, so I don't know what to do with that. I don't think. I mean, I don't know whether it's worth... Oh, can I get rid of the 5 from the line? No, I can't. That could be 5. 5, 1, 3. That would be a 9 in the corner. 6 and 7. There's a 6 in here looking at this. So this is not 1, 2, 6. It is 1, 3, 5. So okay, so I do get the 5 here. That's actually not what I wanted, I don't think. That's giving me a 5 here. How many 5s have I got in the grid? All of them. All the 5s are suddenly done. And this is a 1, 3 pair. So this is a 2 or a 6. This is... Right, that's a 9 by Sudoku in the corner of this cell. And we now know its colour. That's red, because we know that we needed 13 sums, didn't we? These 2 digits are 2, 8 pair, I think. How long have I had? An hour and 12 minutes. Oh, I mean, this is such a sensational puzzle. It's so interesting and weird. 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. Now we probably do something with this domino now. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something with this square, because that's beautiful. That square's green. Because if it was any other colour than green, that digit would be a single adjacent cell along the line. It would have to add up to those 3 digits. It would be another 9 in the row. So we need 2 greens here to stop that from happening. Now, can that be a 9? If that's a 9, it's not green. It could be red, couldn't it? Very naturally. We don't know the parity of this, so I don't think we can back into the parity of this square. What do we do now then? That's not yellow by checkerboarding. That's green or red. Well, okay, hang on. One thing I didn't do, which I think I could have done, is to think about this green connecting to this green. I think it has to come under here, doesn't it? Because for the same reason that we had to be careful with this red, this yellow has to get to the boundary. And to get to the boundary, again, we have no idea how it's going to get to the boundary. But I'm going to claim that if this green did not come through here, then in connecting to the rest of the greens, it's going to create a wall across the grid from there to there. Again, we have no idea what that wall looks like, but it is a virtual wall. of some description. So the only way we can prevent that is by moving the green underneath the 4 like that, which means that becomes green. So it's looking like this is green to me. I'm not sure I'm allowed to assume that, but I won't assume it. But if it was red, then green would have to go up again and cross like that. That doesn't look like it works, actually. This is getting tricky, though. This is definitely getting tricky. So, how do we do this? The reason I thought it was getting trickier is I was just looking at what we have to do across the middle of this grid. Because let's see if I can do this with there's a yellow connection somehow like this. It might not be like that, but it's something like that. There's a red connection something like that, isn't there? And yet I've still, if you look at it, the greens then in this example have not connected. So that the way that the green has to connect is the green's going to have to sort of flow through the middle of the grid. This is why. This is the river crossing, isn't it? This is the title. Yeah, this is the title of the puzzle, River Crossing. Red has to venture into this box to get to here, doesn't it? And yellow has to enter into this box to get to here. So green will have to flow through the middle, because once red's joined this way and once yellow's joined this way, green's only path is through the middle of the grid like that. And that's, you can see it's forcing red, it's forcing yellow. This is absolutely beautiful. It's such beautiful setting of a puzzle. So that this sort of connectivity is forced by the need to create a great big 2 shape in the grid to make the green shape connect. And right, and this is what triggered me thinking about this, was I was trying to work out whether that could be red, and I was noticing that the green would stick out and the yellow would stick out, and I couldn't see how to connect the green and the red across the middle of the grid. So this square is now green. Now, what does this mean? Pregnant pause while I try and work out what this means. I don't know. Is the short answer. I don't know. Got nothing. Brains devoid of ideas. Oh, that's that. Right, that square is definitely not red, because I've got 2 reds on this line, so it's got to be another colour. It's probably green. I mean, if it's yellow, that feels difficult. Yeah, it can't be yellow, because yellow to connect to this yellow will cut off this green from connecting to this green. So there's another cell we've coloured in. That's green. So there's some connection of red. I mean, it could just be that one. Then these 2 would have to add up to 9. It couldn't be 4, 5. Here's a thought I hadn't had before. I've got a great big line across the middle of the grid here. And I'm going to have a lot of sequences. So all I've thought is that it's not possible for this colour to be different from red and this colour to be different from yellow, because then those 2 digits would contain the same number. So there's at least one sort of domino or bigger coming off the edge here. Hang on. Hang on, can we not just use mathematics on the central row? I've got 40, by the secret, the central row adds up to 45. Now 45 is 5 times 9. And 9 is 3 times 3. So the prime factors of 45 are 3's and 5's. There's no way, clearly, that I can split this line into 9 lots of 9, or 9 lots of 5. That's not going to work. There's going to be a lot of repeated 5's in the row. So I've either got to cut this into 5 different segments, each adding up to 9, which would require the 9 to be a single cell segment. Yeah, that doesn't work. That doesn't work for a rather pretty reason, actually. This is complicated, but what I'm trying to envisage is how many times I have to change colour along the central row. And I'm claiming that if I have to change colour, if I have 5 different colours along the central row, then because the row adds up to 45, each colour contains digits that sum to 9. But I have to put a 9 somewhere in this row, so that is a colour on its own. It occupies 1 cell and 1 colour. Now that means the remaining 36 cells have to be split into 4 colours, each adding up to 9. Now the 8 will have to go with a 1, the 7 will then have to go with a 2, the 6 will then have to go with a 3, and the 5 will then have to go with a 4. That's the only way it can work, and that cannot exist in this puzzle because I have a 3-cell segment across the middle box. And I don't know if a different way of seeing that might be to say, okay, well, if this adds up to 9, this must be 1, 3, 5. What on earth do I do with the 8 in this row now? Because I can't partner it with a 1 anymore, therefore it cannot be in a segment that adds up to 9. So it cannot exist. So in fact, what we're now learning is that this row is cut into 3 different colours only. And each of those colours adds up to 15. Now you can't do 15 in 1 cell, and that means that's red, it means that's yellow, it means these two are not, this is green, because we've got to avoid a 2 by 2 here. So that's green, avoid a checkerboard there. So that's yellow. That's something probably green, I think. Yeah, if that's red, then connecting this red up isolates the green at the top. So that is green. How does it work over here? That's only got the opportunity to be green. Avoid a checkerboard here, so that's got to be red. This square, again, that can't be yellow. The wall of yellow that would inevitably result would cut off the green at the bottom. So that's... How did you set this? How? This is just absolutely brilliant. This green has to get out, so it's got to go up and down. So now this line has got a domino followed by a single, but we don't know what colour this is. Each of these segments now, so they are 3-cell segments, each adding up to 15. So this domino adds up to 10. It's not 2, 8. So it's either 1, 9, 4, 6 or 3, 7. Okay, I don't really know what to do now. Let me try and work this out. What on earth am I meant to think about now? Also a little bit worried that red-green colour blindness is a thing, isn't it? So have I chosen just dreadful colours here? Maybe I should change my colours. Maybe if I made the green into blue, would it be better? I don't know, it might be. I think I will change it just in case. I don't want people to get upset. I have now got 3 of the same colour along there. So these 3 digits now have to add up to 9. That feels... Problem is, you could have repeated digits along here. None of these... You could, in fact... I mean, there may be a simple reason why this doesn't work, but I can't immediately see it. Why couldn't those all be 3s? Oh, that actually doesn't work. That would break that. So they can't all be 3s, but something mad could easily be the case. Right. If that was yellow, then this would also be yellow. That would finish the colouring. So what I'm seeing there is, if that's yellow, if this was not yellow as well, these 2 numbers would be the same, because they would be the sum of the line, wouldn't they? If these added up to, I don't know, 7, that would be a 7, and that would be a 7. So if this was... So this would have to be yellow, but now we have to connect our blue, and the blue would have to go round like that. Okay, now which actually looks fine. So that probably means that this is not... Well, it's not red, is it? Because that's going to cut the blue off. So that probably means this is not blue. If this is blue, that's red. That's broken. Yeah, I think that's broken, isn't it? I'm going to check this logic because I'm not actually sure that I haven't just made a mistake there. It feels a bit weird. No, in fact, I'm wrong as well. This does still work because I can connect the red there and the blue round there, and then the blue is connected. I thought the blue was getting isolated, but I'm not actually sure it is. Although, having said that, what colour is this? This would have to also be red, because of this line. So this would have to be red, that has to be blue, that has to be blue to avoid a 2 by 2. Okay, so that's also possible, I think. Ah! Goodness, right, okay, so I'm getting a bit stuck now. I don't really know... Not really sure where the weak point in the puzzle is. This, well, oh, maybe this line. Maybe here, maybe here, but I'm not very unsure as to where I'm meant to look now. Okay, or it could just be shading, although my attempts there. Oh, what colour's that? Sorry, that's got to avoid a 2 by 2 here. That can't be yellow, it would isolate blue. So that is blue. There we go, there's another colour into the grid. Has that changed any of the dynamics of what we were just working out? I don't think so. What do we say? If these are both yellow, these are all blue. Those 2 digits would be the same. That's quite interesting. I haven't seen that before. They'd be at least 6. It looks fine. I mean, I'm not seeing the problem with that. Shall we try? What are the digits that I've not put in up here? I have not thought about 6. Do I know anything about 6s? Apparently not. I know these 2 digits add up to the same as these 2 digits. So, well, that looks very doable. Okay, this cannot be an 8-9 pair because these would be too big. Oh, maybe I can get 9 off this. Maybe 9 is not possible then. Because 9-8 is too big for these two. 9-7 is too big for these two. And 9-3 would require these to add up to 12 without using 7-5-4-8 or 3-9. That does not work. There we go. Simple deduction. So these are from 3, 7 and 8 now. Okay, I'm going to do that again. That's not a 3-8 pair. Because if it's a 3-8 pair, these have to add up to 11. And they couldn't be 2-9, 3-8, 4-7 or 5-6. So there is definitely a 7 on this line thingy. There we go. That's a lovely deduction. So it's either 10 here. So if this is 3, 7, these add up to 10. And they'd have to be 1, 9. Or it's 3, or it's 7, 8, 15. These would have to be 6, 9. Right. Well, that's great. So the 9 is, there's always a 9 in this pair. And now we get it. It's there. So this is a 1 or a 6. So this is not a 9. So this is 3, 7, 8 as a triple now. So this square is 1 or 6. That's going to affect this total. 9 is definitely here by Sudoku. Now, can we do better than that? Pregnant pause while I try and work out what on earth this means. Let's try this. I mean, maybe we can disprove 6 quite quickly here, because we know these 2 digits would then have to add up to 3. This couldn't be a 2, so that would be a 1. And this would be a 2. I can't see why that doesn't work. Let's delete that then. Okay, what's the other alternative? The other alternative is that this is a 1. So these have to add up to 8. Wow. It couldn't be double 4, I suppose, because that 4 prevents double 4. It couldn't be 3, 5, because that 5 sees both ends. So if, hang on, so if this is 1, we're either looking at a 2, 6 pair. Does that work? Well, that would have to be 6. This would have to be 2. Or we're looking at 1 and 7 into these squares. That does not seem to be restricted. Although actually there is a... Is that definitely right? Yeah, okay. Maybe we have to pencil mark this up then. Because I've realised suddenly this can't be a 1. Because there is a 1 in one of those squares. Due to this 1, 2, 6 triple, and this not having a 1 on it because of this 1, 3 pair. So let's think about this. Let's do it actually slowly. So if this is 6, we know this is 1 and this is 2. If this is 1, it's not double 4, it's not 3, 5. If it's 2, 6, the 2 is definitely here and this is 6. And if it's 1, 7, the 1 is here and this is 7. Good grief. So it's really constrained, actually. Are we saying this is a 1, 6 pair on the line, then? No, we're not, are we? Because we're not catering to the fact this is double 1. Double 1, 7. Oh, yeah, okay. So it's not a 1, 6 pair on the line. Okie dokie. What now then? Sudoku. That's what? That's an 8. Didn't see it. That 8 is looking at this square. So these squares are known. This is going to be it, isn't it? 2, 6, 7 maybe? There's definitely a 7 on the line here. Ooh. One of those is a 7. This is 2, 6, 7. Sorry, I can't. I'm sure that's doing something. I just don't know what it is. What about those 3 cells then? Do we know what they are? They are 1, 3, 6, 7. 1, 3, 6, 7. And these squares are 1, 3, 4, 9. Bother. Okay, we're getting to levels of excessive pencil marking here, which is never a place I like to be in. So this digit is ending up there, that digit's ending up there, along with a 4, 9 here and a 6, 7 here. 2. And what are these squares adding up to? These are adding up to 15, aren't they? 8. Oh, 8, 7 ones. No, hang on, 15. 8, 6, 1. Ah, 2, 13. Right, okay, this square I now know. That cannot be 2, because these can't add up to 13 anymore. It's just pencil marking, but 6, 7 would need 6, 7 here, 4, 9 here would need 4, 9 here, and 1 and 3 are just too small. So this is 8, this is 2. These squares now are adding up to 7, so they don't include 7, they don't include 9. Well, that can't be a 3, because that can't be a 4, so that's down to 1 or 4. So if that's 1, you'd need a 6 here, so that's down to 3 or 6. So it's either a 6-1 pair or a 4-3 pair now, which is something. Yeah, okay. So now let's think about these 2 digits, which have to add up to 10. But they're not 2, 8. And I think if they were 4 and 6, these would be a 1-3 pair and they wouldn't add up to 7. So this is not 4, 6, it's 1, 9. Which we have to be careful with. 9, that would have to be 9, 1. Or 3, 7. I can't see a restriction. Oh, is 3, 7 going to break this? If this is 3, 7, this is 6, 1. 3, 7, 6, 1. This is 2, 4, 8. No, not 2, 4, 8. 2, 4 something over here. 2, 4, 9, I think. I'm not sure. Okay. Wow. Okay, so we have to think harder. And the way we're going to do that is... can I do more Sudoku? I don't know. 9s. Oh, no. Maybe not. I was wondering about 9 in this. 9 is in one of 3 places there. Can 9 go on this line? Do we know how this line shades? Don't know. Not sure. If that was a 9... it just depends how this shades, I think. I think there are still a lot of options, probably. I mean, it's not possible that both of these are blue, is it? Because that would create a 2 by 2 of blues here. Maybe it's possible to sort of at least allocate certain colours to this row. Might that be handy or not? I don't know. I'm not sure actually. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where to look, if I'm honest. It could be up here, although this looks... it looks so tricky. We don't know anything about those digits. It could be this, and I've missed a point on there. If that's 9 1, that's 3 7, that's 8, that's 6. That would be a 1. So one would be there. Oh, that's it. Hang on, that definitely didn't seem to work. Right, let's try that. I'm just going to go through that again. What I said was, if that's 1, that's 6. That seems fair, doesn't it? That's just Sudoku. This line now needs... This is now 1. So 1, 1. Where do I put the 1 in box 7? It has to be there. But that's the sum of two different numbers. So it's not... That's just total nonsense. So that's 6. That's 1. Now... What is that? So that knocks 6 out of this square. I get a 2 7 pair, look, in this row. So what do I need? I need 1 3 and 8. 1 3 and 8 into these squares. One of these is definitely an 8. Oh, okay. One of these is definitely an 8. Oh, come on. That's... I've suddenly realised I don't even know how these split up, because they could still be a 6-2 or a 7-1. So I don't... Oh, no! No! Oh, that felt like a good deduction. Okay. 1 in this box? No, 1 could go on the line if it's part of a sum adding up to something. Golly gosh, I don't know then. That digit's under a bit of Sudoku-y pressure, isn't it? 1 3 6 7 9. So that digit is 1 3 or 7 only. But that is a different thing altogether. I was also trying to think about the way this shaded. Yeah, I've thought about this before though. I suspect that this is a fool's errand. Could we... What about that digit? Is that under... I don't think that's under any pressure. I think that can literally be 1 3 6 7 or 9. Now, there might be... It's not easy to see why that fails. It really isn't. I mean, it doesn't fail. One of those will definitely be correct, but... Oh, sorry, in my mind, I was wondering about putting 9 here. I was trying to work out whether or not that could work. No, okay. I suspect we have to do better with our shading somehow in order to, you know, if we can get... For example, if we knew these were... Well, they can't all be blue, can they? But it's something like that. If we knew they were all blue, all of a sudden there would be more pressure on this domino. If that's blue, that is going to cause these... that doesn't work. Right, that's a straightforward deduction, actually. If that's blue, these two have to be different colours than blue, so they will contain the same number, because they will sort of be framed by blue. So from the line perspective, so this is either red or yellow, definitely. Okay, that feels like it might be important then. Now this one, well, can we say something that's not? That's definitely not red, is it? Because if that's red, red's got to get to the edge. Oh, no, hang on, maybe I'm wrong. Could red do that? Yeah, no, actually I'm wrong, I think. Oh, this is complicated. This is complicated. That could be blue, I think. Then this would have to be red. If it's yellow, then this has to be yellow. Hang on, if this is red, surely... No, this is not red. That's nonsense. If that's red, I either cut blue off by doing that, or I cut blue off by doing that. That's definitely not red. It's yellow, or it's blue, this one. That I am reasonably comfortable with. But... So what does that mean? I don't know. So if this is yellow, that's yellow. That's one thing it means. If this is red, I don't know. This is getting very difficult, actually. It is very difficult all of a sudden. Could we... I mean, even if I could conclude these were not the same colour, that would be quite handy, wouldn't it? Because I keep going, I tried to make this 7 in my head just now, and I was like, but that wouldn't work if this was a different colour, because I was thinking this couldn't be 5-2. But then that could be a domino that adds up to 12. Actually, that wouldn't work. Cool. That's very tricky, though. I might be able to get rid of 7 from this square. Let's just put that in and have a think about it. If that's 7, we then have to decide whether it's the same or a different colour from this yellow-red cell. If it's a different colour, this has to be a part of a sequence that adds up to 7, so it would require a 2 here, which is impossible. So these have to be the same. They add up to 12. Next question, I suppose, is could all of these be the same colour then? What colour would that be? They couldn't be blue, that would create 2x2s. They couldn't be yellow, because that would isolate the blue at the bottom. So no, they couldn't all be the same colour. So these would be 12, which requires... That would mean this was a domino, and I don't think this domino can add up to 12. Because it can't be 3, 9, it can't be 5, 7, and that cell can be neither 4 nor 8. So I'm going to claim that that is not a 7. That's really complicated, and it's only got rid of 1 digit, but we might be able to. Can we repeat that trick? I'm just wondering with 9 there. 9 feels the most... we might not be able to, actually. But 9, if this is 9, and it's alone, then this is part of a sequence that adds up to 9. But you can see that this colour and this colour are not the same. So it can't be a 3-cell sequence. So it would have to be a 2-cell sequence, and this would have to be a 4, which it can't be. So this actually would be a domino. We've already worked out, haven't we? These three are not the same colour. That's true. Yeah, so this is a domino that adds up to 14. Now, that's interesting, isn't it? Because now this, yeah, that is it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because this would have to be a 6-8 pair, adding up to 14. And now this has no option because it can't be 6-8 and it can't be 5-9. So I got rid of another digit there. And does that give me... Ah, no, it doesn't. I thought it might give me a 9. Because now my 9 is... Well, it nearly does. Oh, no, it does. It does. Where's 9 in this box? It's there. By Sudoku. Which means... Oh, no. Ah, no! No, it doesn't do it. It gives me a 9 in one of 3 places. This digit, though, has got restricted now. Well, a little bit more restricted. It's 1, 3, 6 or... no, it's not restricted at all. It's got all the options in the world. Well, if all of the options are 1, 3, 6 and 7. Okay, let's try 6 here then. So if that's 6, 5, 1 would work. Would it though? Or could that be 11? Can that be a 6? Oh, it's quite difficult for that to be 6. It's not impossible. So many options though. So if this is 6 and it's on its own, this would have to be 5, 1. This would have to be 6. I'm staring at that for a while in the hope that's broken for some reason. I don't think it is. And these, well actually that breaks. Yeah, okay, this is not 6 because this domino never works. That's one way of looking at it. If that's a 6, this can't be 5, 1 and it can't be 2, 4. So this can't be a 6 on its own. It would have to join up with this. It would have to be an 11. Now, does that break? These then have to be joined together. 6, 5 here. So this is 3 or 7. So this could be 8 or 4. Oh, that might work, you know. Oh, that's so annoying. Hang on, if I make that 3, it has to join up with this. Because this is so much bigger. So this would be an 8. And we've worked out these 3 are not the same. So if this is 3, this is 8. So these have to add up to 8. They'd have to be a 1, 7 pair. That doesn't work. Wow. If that's 3, I think this can't be a 1, 7 pair because it breaks this, which is either a 1, 9 or a 3, 7. So if you put 1, 7 in there, both of those options disappear from the world. That's really interesting. Can I get rid of... Oh, I've got a 1, 6 pair now. Oh, is the technical term for disappointment. What about if that's 1 then? It has to join up with this 6. No, that's 6 we've already worked out. This is a 6. It's the only thing that works, I think. Which means that's a 1. That's going to do at least something, because that we know that sequence had to add up to 9. That gets me another digit there as well. No, it doesn't. It gets me another 2 digits, because that gets me that and that. 1 is in one of 2 places in box 7. This is no longer a 6. This is a 6. This is a 7. This is getting quite interesting. I think these have to be the same colour. Because I worked out this can't be a 6 domino. So these are the same colour, which means this is yellow or red. Now if it's yellow, it can't be yellow, because yellow was going to connect there, and blue's going to be cut off. So these are now both red, I think. And therefore this is not able to be yellow anymore because these would have the same sum. So that's got to be blue. These have to add to 11, and now somehow one of the options has disappeared from here. I think I thought this could be a 7, but that's become a 7. So this is 3. This is 8. This is not 3. So this is not 7. These digits add up to 11, and they are not 2, 9, 3, 8, or 5, 6. So if they're 4, 7, it might still work. It's only got one way of doing it. That means that's 1 and that's 9. That's 4 by Sudoku. Right, what is this doing? So now that's not 4. That's not 7. This 1, 9 means that's 4. These had to add up to 7, so that's a 3. Okay, we take 3 out of these. We can take 3 and 4 out of these. I tried to do that and messed it up. I'm going to go back. I tried to press 3 and 4, and I don't know what on earth I pressed, but it was nonsense. I've got a 1, 9 pair, so that's 6. That's 7. The weird thing about this is it's actually doing quite a lot of Sudoku. That 1, 9 does some more things down here. 1 and 3 go in the grid. Now in this row I need 2, 6, and 7 do add up to 15, which is a very good thing for them to add up to. These squares are 1s, 3s and oh, where's 1? That's got to be 1. That's got to be 9. Sorry, that was totally obvious. Just Sudoku that I missed. Perhaps not surprising. 4 and 8 into these squares. That's 4. That's 8. That's 4. That's going to be interesting for this line, and we might have to do the sums on this line. That can't be 1. 1 and 4 add up to 5, which has apparently already appeared. So that's got to be a 1. Oh, there was a movement of my air conditioning funnel that was almost frightening. Sorry about that. I don't know what that's going to sound like on the video. 2, 3, 7 and 8. So these are from 2, 3, 7 and 8. Let's put all the options in and work out what this digit is. This can't be 7 or 8. It's either... Oh, it needs to be 7. It might be able to be 7. That does seem to work. It's the only thing that works. So, oh, no 3 in the corner up there. Oh, hang on. Has this been available for ages? How long has this been available? That's 15. So that's 15. So this is a 3. So that's a 3 and that's a 9. I don't know if that did that. That might have got rid of one of the options from this square when we were looking at it. I'm not sure. This is 2, 7 or 8 in the corner. It's not 7. 6 is doing some work. That's 7. That's 2. That's 6. So this column shouldn't be beyond the wit of man. That's 2. That's 8. That's 9. That's 8. That's 7. We're going to have to do our colouring though. Oh, that 3's got to get out. Just pause for a moment and consider trying to set this puzzle. It is not a normal brain that we are doing battle with today. This is a 2. This is a 1, 8 pair. This square is a something. I was going to say, no, it's going to be 6, I think. That's no longer a 9. It's going to be very interesting to see how these numbers resolve themselves, isn't it? In terms of how the shading gets figured out. 1 and 3 are done in this row. So this is a 3, 8 pair. So I should be able to get that digit. That's got to be a 6. And now these squares are a 2, 3 pair. Don't tell me. Is this all going to have to be resolved by... Yeah, it is, isn't it? Well, Okay, so first question must be, can both of those be the same colour? I can see that could be a 9 and then a 7, 2, and then a 3, 6, and then a 3, 6. That's going to be the right answer, isn't it? So can we join those up as the same colour? 16. Well, then this would be red. And we still wouldn't have got to 16. Oh, so that doesn't work, because we'd have to take that square, and that square's definitely blue, unless my mind's gone crazy. So this is a different colour to this. But this line is therefore adding up to 9. So these are both the same. These are both the same. So this is blue. This is therefore a 3. That's a 2, that's a 2, that's a 1, that's a 1, that's an 8, that's an 8, that's a 3, and that's the Sudoku done. This is adding up to 9, so this is a change. This is not blue. Well, it can't be red. It couldn't get back to anything, so that's got to be yellow. Blue still has to get out here and connect. Oh, no, it's still ambiguous. No, it's not, because oh God, look at the way this finishes. That 2 is not adding up to 9 yet, so that becomes a 7, and then that is how the blue connects across. Good grief. I mean, that must be right, unless I've made a Sudoku error. You know, the final piece of that was so unbelievably beautiful, the way it just sort of slotted into place, that I will check it in a minute. I don't know if the solution is going to be included or not, but I'm just going to do this because it will make me happy to do it. That border as well, just to unify the black border such as it is. Is it correct? Yes. 40 people in 38 days. About one person a day has managed to solve that. That is its total genius setting, 2 hours. So it's a long one. I'm sorry about that. I mean, I think it is quite a hard puzzle. But isn't it magnificent? If you got to do one of these every day, I know it would take a couple of hours every day, but it would just make you happy. It would make me happy. It was phenomenal. Phenomenally clever. What an idea. And this should be IcyFruit's sort of superhero moniker now. Whatever this pattern is, I thought it was going to be a 2 in the middle of the grid. It's not. It's some more exotic symbol than that. But that is the symbol of IcyFruit now, from now on, in my mind. IcyFruit, whoever you are, take a bow. That was brilliant. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.